Thank you all. Good morning. Today, thank you. Today I want to begin with paying my respects for all the men and women that has built this country. And I want to do it in a special way. And it goes by a song by Mr. Vicente Ras. It is called Lamento. I'm no singer, but I'm going to do my best. E cabez de alué, cutin riba nos escudo, tapone nos tu recordan, nos grandinan quatrajaduro. Leo, 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 la, leo, 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 la, leo, 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 la. Leo, 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 láganos no lubidan y van cuidanos cultura y síñanos chiquito nan panang bintas ti maruba. Leo, 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 la. You see, when you are the Minister of Finance and Culture of this country, you can do what I just did. So good morning to everyone, and as protocol was served, and I sang my song, now we can continue. If my iPad cooperates with me. But of course, today we are going to talk about financial inclusion of women in Aruba. It is a topic that there are not many investigations about, but I thank the Central Bank of Aruba and, of course, the Department of Statistics for helping me today with this presentation. Financial inclusion is encouraging women to take up more employment opportunities and be financially independent. Financial inclusion is also about gender equality. But before going into this, let us just go through a journey of the Aruban history, since it is very important to know your past, to comprehend, to understand the present, and to know where you can go in the future. Let me see, because I'm not so savvy. Okay, there we go. As you may see, before 1640, most of our population consisted of Arawak, Taínos, and Caribbean Indians. It is also during this period that people were brought from Africa to Aruba to be made slaves. After this, there was a period with not many changes in Aruban society. It was until 1900 that Aruba women became hat weavers, housewives, and most were unmarried women started to work as nannies. Most of the women by that time had no income. During the period of 1907 to 1927, the position of women in Aruban society changed significantly. Women became bakers, salt pickers, teachers, merchants, farmers, launderers, and fish sellers. 73.5% of women were active in the labor market. This is part of our migration history. A lot of men migrated to work on plantations in Venezuela, Colombia, Suriname, and Cuba. It was in this period that women became the head of the household. The men stayed on the island. The men that stayed on the island, I forgot my glasses. Goes with the age, you know, were fisher and left for sea for long periods of time, only returning on the weekends. After this period, the economic landscape of Aruba changed with the establishment of the Lago oil refinery in 1947. from the 73.5% of women who were active in the labor market, it dropped to an amazing 7.2%. This was caused due to the fact that the men started to work at the refinery and the women stayed home and therefore were not participating in the labor market. After that time, the period that followed, Aruban women became more politically and socially active and founded several women's rights movements to come up for their rights, especially in the workforce. And as we can see, lawsuits were also part of this history. In 1984, the teacher union, CIMAR, went to court with the government for the issue of equal payments for the women. Sadly, they lost. But the battle continued, and in 1989, another lawsuit followed and this was started by the Union of the Public and Private Employees, SEPA, and also Mamona, which was a women movement. And finally, they won. But we're not over yet. Because before 1992, as some may not know, but until that time, Article 95 and 96 of our Civil Servant Act stated that by marrying or going to live with, if the woman goes to live with a man, then she would be fired. She would lose his job. Yes, I know, a lot of people knocking, how could that be possible? Yes, that is our history. So the financial inclusion, of course, is encouraging women to take up more employment opportunities and be financially independent. It also explains that women will not have to rely on men for money. They also do not have to wait for the man's permission to do anything. So if we analyze the information we are going to present right now, and I must say I thank the Central Bank and also the Department. So we are represented. But then we see a kind of change. In 2010, 4.8% of the people employed in the financial sector were women, and in 2019 is 4.5%. It may seem a slight decline, but this decline has to do with the fact that you have more people working in this sector. And that is why we, as women, we didn't gain more participation from that. But you heard. Thank you, dear. So here we are. This is who we are, and I think a lot of you women here, also present, and also those seeing us today, this is the proportion of women in managerial position, and we have seen that through the years, this has grown. Females as a percentage of the employed in the financial sector, as you may see, we are 50-50. Oh yeah, almost there. Okay, that one is me. But before me, this is Mrs. Tromp-Yarsaharay. She was our first female Minister of Finance, but also our first female minister plenipotentiary stayed in the Netherlands, and she was also our first female deputy government of Aruba. I would like to ask you for a round of applause for Ms. Ella. It is not an easy job to be a woman in office, to be women in politics, to be women in such position. Of course not to being, but I am very proud that we do have for the first time the first female minister president of Aruba. A round of applause for Ms. Evelyn Wever-Cruz. And of course, this is me. If I may say, this is my second term, but I must say that into all the work that I had to do, I was the second, but I was the first, and I hope that I will be the only Minister of Finance that had to deal with the pandemic. I do not wish no women and no men to have that function during a pandemic. And of course, if you have that accompanied and being the Minister of Economic Affairs too, I think you can imagine what a burden, what a responsibility that is. But hey, we are here, we are intact, and by the grace of God, we are here presenting to you. So, and of course, as I was mentioning, there it is, the COVID. Because sometimes people tend to forget that in this country, in this world, we didn't go through a pandemic. We try to see, you know, things are going back to normal. We don't have to have a nose, a mask. We don't wear that anymore, so everything is over. It is not over. And in this moment, we stand here, and I must say, I take pride in the fact that it was a big challenge being the Minister of Finance, but a bigger challenge being the Prime Minister. And if you are a Minister of Finance, during normal, like say, normal office, normal days, you will have to count on the support of the Prime Minister. I am very glad that I can count on the support of Ms. Evelyn Wever-Cruz, our Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. And of course, in Aruba, we have women leading. And I must say, I apologize for not having everyone on here, but this is to give you a view of what we have here in Aruba. Our central bank, our Department of Taxation, you know, tax is such a thing. Luan, you're here, I know. But also our Department of Economic Affairs, Maria, sitting in front here. But also CBS, our Central Bureau of Statistics. I see you, Ms. Helder. And of course, the Court of Audit, we have our foresitter, having the same beautiful name as me, Xiomara Cruz-Williams. She got appointed as the president of the court, but also the secretary, Ms. Marianne Couret, is also a female. The finance department, it is led by a man, but there is a lady, Joanne, and she does a fantastic job as the head of doing all the preparations for the budget. Thank you, Joanne. And of course, the customs department, the financial controller, is also a lady. But as I was mentioning, this is not complete. We have a lot of more of ladies, and of course, you all sitting in here. So I think that next time we will have a bigger chart and more information on this. Number of women in business position. As you may see, we are not there yet. We are competing with a man. We are at 42%. And there you can see how much they are, 3,225. And the men are still up by 58%. Maybe it is a challenge for us, knowing these figures that we will go through, and then we will surpass them sometime in the near future. And in the board position, because this is also the morning of seeing the challenges and getting inspired and to go for the challenge. And if you may see, 36% of women own their business. I see some of you inside here. 31% are directors. They take up the challenge. 6% are board members. They are the looking eyes, you know, looking out that everything goes well. 6% are proxy, and 5% are secretary. So ladies, this is where we stand in commerce. Education, of course. Education, I couldn't get the information of all the people going to study abroad. But I brought you what in Aruba, the studies that we are offering, the University of Aruba. Just look at how the females dominate. Education by APE. There we go, ladies. So, before going that, here you can see that the ladies in Aruba gets inspired to go for the challenge to go into financial. It's a man's world, with all due respect, but ladies dominate. And so there you're going to see, so we have a future. In the financial inclusion survey that the central bank has performed in 2018, we can get a view of how this inclusion is, how men and women, if they do have saving accounts. And you see here by gender that men are still leading here. But you see also that women are leading in having no saving accounts. If you see here, credit by gender, there you see women leading and having no credit, but mortgage, car loans, personal loan, bank credit card also are, the men are dominating. This last one, the bank credit card, I thought, you know, maybe it is that it is on this man's name, but the ladies rule. But of course, these are the Sustainable Development Goals, and number 5 is gender equality. It is a driver. If we do not get gender equality, we cannot go and pursue the other ones. You cannot enter, you cannot eradicate poverty without educating girls. It is nearly impossible. So gender equality is something very important to look up also into the sustainable goals. And of course, before I stop with my presentation, I find in my presentation, there is a quote by Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, which I like you to memorize. We know that women are empowered. We know when women are empowered, they immeasurably improve the lives of everyone around them, their families, their communities, and their countries. I think there is wisdom in what is said and written on this board. Ladies, please, gentlemen also, remember this. Give the ladies a chance, but most important, ladies, give yourself a chance. Go for the challenge. The numbers are not only for the men. The numbers are ruled by the women. So, I would like to thank all of them, because all of them has helped me today to give you this presentation. It does not contain every information, but I think it has enough for you to be wanting to know more of where we stand as women here in Aruba. We do have a future. A lot of people studying, also in this classroom, studying. We do have people to look up to. We do have our Prime Minister. You do have myself doing a job, as I say, on a rocky road. But hey, we are here. Thank you so much for your attention. And girls, be brave.